everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. It's time to put together month 9 of Olympia, the puzzle mystery quilt from Cotton Cuts. If you've been following along, you know that we are just a short bit away from the final clue and seeing how everything goes together. If I seem a little excited, it's because I am definitely very excited to see how this quilt comes together. There's a lot of pieces and I think I have a pretty good idea, but let's see what month 9 and clue 9 has in store for us. Alright, I have everything together. I have my Carry colorway guide, I have my package number 9, and I have my instructions for clue number 9 of the small Olympia puzzle mystery quilt. So let's go ahead and open up our fabric packet and see what all's inside. Alright, inside our packet we have a small triangle. This is actually 2 small triangles of the B fabric. We have 2 small triangles of the H fabric. We have 2 squares of the H fabric. We have 2 squares of the F fabric. We have 8 squares of the E fabric. We have 2 squares of the D fabric. We have 8 squares of the A fabric. We have 4 squares of the B fabric. I had to move everything up because I was running out of room. We have 2 triangles, these are large triangles, of H fabric, and then 2 triangles, large triangles, of the B fabric. And that's all that's in this packet. If you are doing the Carry colorway, pay close attention. You should be able to figure it out because our A fabric has 8 squares and our B fabric has 4 squares. But if you look at them, our A fabric has a more cream colored background and our B fabric has more of a whitish gray background. So keep that in mind whenever you're putting these together if you're working on the Carry colorway. I'm going to go ahead and put all of these on the table behind me and we'll start off with our step number 1. Okay, it might be a little hard to see the fabrics here on my table because the cream color almost matches my tabletop, so I apologize for that. And I just now noticed that. I don't know why I hadn't noticed that before. Anyways, all right, let's start off with our section 9, clue 9. We'll be making 2 of this section 9, and the instructions below tell you how to make both sections at the same time. We're going to start off on step number 1. It says to join a square A. So in this case, it's that cream colored fabric in the Carry colorway. We're going to start off and join a square A to the right of a square E. And again, if you're doing the Carry colorway, make sure your E fabric is going the right way. You have the right side of the fabric up. And then after we join those 2, then we're going to join a square of A to the left. Oops, I did it in the opposite order. I said left and then right. It doesn't really matter. But as long as you're basically putting these 3 squares together so that it's A, E, A, just like that. And we're going to make that 4 times and we're going to be pressing away from our E. So we're going to be pressing out towards our A fabric on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and sew all these together and I'll come back when it's time to press them out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press out my little pieces here. I don't know, wow, my brain is all over the place today. Anyways, all right, so I have pressed out step number 1, just finished that up. So we have 4 that look like this. We have E fabric, and I have to go back to my fabric guide just to make sure. E fabric in the middle, A fabric on the outside looks just like this. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and set these off to the side because we're moving on to step number 2. All right, moving on to step number 2, it says to join a square of E to the right of a square F. We're going to press it towards F, and then we're going to join a square of E to the left, and we're going to press to the left, or press towards the center F, and we're going to make 2 of these. So, we're only making 2. Okay, not 4. My brain is all over the place today, guys. I'm sorry. All right, so here we go. So it looks like this. We'll have our E fabric on the outside, F fabric in the center. We're going to press it towards our F fabric in the center, and we're making 2 of these just like this. I'll meet you back here when it's time to press everything out. All right, I have completed that, so now I'm going to press towards my F fabric, which is in the center. So I'm just going to go ahead and press those like that. Remember that we are making 2 of these like so. I love that the heart maybe hard to see on camera, but the heart landed almost smack dab in the center there. I love that. All right, so we have 2 of these. We're done with step number 2. Let's move on to step number 3. Okay, moving on to step number 3, it says to join a step 1 unit above step 2. So we're going to put these 2 together. We're going to sew right there. And then we're going to press towards our step 1 and then join a step 1 unit below. And we're going to press towards step 1. And we're going to make 2 of these. So basically we are just creating a square block that is a checkerboard. So you're going to put your step 1 on top and then down on the bottom, and then you're going to press it outwards from the center row. So we're going to press out from top and bottom, and we're going to make 2 of these in total. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I don't know where my brain is today, guys. I apologize. I feel like I'm a little scatterbrained. So if you're having a little difficulty following me, I do apologize. But this is what it's going to look like for when we finish step 3. So let's go ahead and sew this together. All right, I finished step 3. I'm now pressing outwards from our middle row. So it looks something like that. I got this fabric a little wrinkly. There's a little wrinkle in there, but that's just in the fabric. That's not in the actual block. It'll come out whenever I work on it a little bit more. So there we go. All right, so I have 2 of these. They should look like this with our F right smack dab in the center. We have our E. Wait, E. I was like, wait a minute. All right, there's our E fabric and then our A fabric on the corners. So it looks like that. All right, let's go ahead and set this off to the side, and we're going to move on to step number 4. All right, moving on to step number 4. I want to make sure my guide is available so that way I can see it here. All right, so here is step number 4. For step number 4, we need H fabric, we need B fabric, and we need D fabric. So it says to join a square of D to the right of a square B, we're going to press towards B, and then we're going to join a square of H to the left, and we're going to press it towards B. So we're going to add all these on just like this. This is very reminiscent of another clue that we did, but we're going to put them on both sides just like that. We're going to press it towards our center. I'm going to go ahead and sew all of it together, and we're doing this twice, so we'll need to make 2 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and sew all of these together, and then I'll meet you back here to press them out. Okay, I've put those fabrics together, and now I'm pressing towards the center B fabric, just like so. Feel like I need to, every time I press and I'm talking to the camera, it feels weird because I'm like, I don't know what to say at this very moment. All right, there we go. So we have our H, B, D fabric. We're pressed it towards the center. We have 2 of our step number 4. Let's move on to step number 5. Okay, moving on to step number 5, it says to join a step 4 unit, which we just did, to the right of a step 3 unit, and we're going to press it towards our step 3. And we're going to make 2 of them. So our H fabric is going to be on the top of our column, B fabric in the middle, D fabric on the bottom, and we're going to attach it along this seam right here, just like this. And we're going to make 2 of them. All right, there we go. I have pressed towards our step number 3 on both of these. And again, remember that your H fabric is up here in the top right corner. Your D fabric is down here in the bottom right corner. And I have 2 clues that look, or 2 clues number 9 that look like this. And we're ready to go ahead and move on. I'm gonna go ahead and put these off to the side because it looks like we are putting them off to the side for the moment. Okay, moving on to step number 6, it says to sew a large triangle of B to the right of a large triangle H as shown. And we're going to press it towards our B fabric, and we're going to do that 2 times. So I'm going to go ahead and sew it just like that. Remember on this one feels weird because it's got that U shape to it. So we're going to stack them on top of there just like that, and sew from this point to this point, not this point to this point, all right? And maybe a little hard to see, but we've done this before, so I'm pretty sure y'all will be able to get that done. So we're gonna go ahead and do that 2 times. Okay, I have finished with step number 6. I have put my H and my B triangles together, and I've pressed them the wrong way. I just realized I pressed it the wrong way. Did I do both of them? No, I only did one the wrong way. That's fine. So let me fix that really quick. All right, I've pressed towards my B fabric now. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay, so I've pressed it towards my B fabric, just like that. Goodness gracious. All right, moving on to step number 7. It says to sew a small triangle of B to the left of a step 6 unit, and then we're gonna press towards our B fabric. Then join a small triangle of H to the right, and we're gonna press towards our H fabric. We're gonna make 2 of these, and it should look something like this whenever we're done. So I have 2 of them that I'm going to be working on at the same time, and then I will come back here when it's time to press everything out, and hopefully I press it the right way this time. All right, I've completed that. I'm now pressing outwards. Both of these, both B fabric and H fabric, needed to be pressed outwards, so I've done that. And gosh, you know, I'm really feeling more and more successful with putting these like flying geese, but not really, kind of blocks together. Actually, both my flying geese and these blocks I feel like are a lot more square, and it's because I'm slowing down. That's a big thing, is I'm slowing down, really paying attention to where I'm landing the fabric, and also I'm paying attention to where my points are and where they're all landing, and also when I'm feeding it through my machine, I'm not stretching out, because these triangle edges can easily stretch out, and I think that was part of my problem, was because they stretched out, I was getting some weird blocks. So just by going slow and letting the machine move the fabric instead of myself, I think that made a huge difference. All right, let's go ahead and move on. This is finished step number 7. Let's move on to step number 8. All right, moving on to step number 8, all we're going to do is we're going to sew a square of B to the right of step 7 unit. We're going to press it towards B, and we're going to make 2 of them. So I have 2 right here. All I'm going to do is just sew this onto the end just like so. Get it? So, all right, and I'm going to do that right now. All right, I've done that. I'm going to press my towards my B square, just like that. So now we have 2. Remember, your H fabric is pointing up, and you have your B square on the right, just like this. So I have 2 strips that look exactly like this. Let's move on to step number 9. Okay, for step number 9, it says to join a step 8 unit below a step 5 unit. We're going to press towards our 5, or step 5, and we're going to make 2 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and just sew this onto the bottom just like this, and we're going to do that 2 times, and I'll meet you back here when it's time to press. Okay, I have finished that, and I'm now pressing towards our step 5 unit. Remember, your points will kind of trip you up a little bit because there's so much bulk there. I don't know what happened on this one, to be honest, because if you look, it may be hard to see on camera here, but if you look, I have a little bit of extra fabric over here on this strip, but over here, like, I don't know and why I have a 1/4 inch, maybe even more, hanging off the side here, and my point is this one's closer to this seam as opposed to this one, which is a good 1/4 inch, maybe even more. I don't know. It's weird. I don't understand. I think my clue is the right size. I'm going to go ahead and measure it really quick, and I'll come right back. Okay, I did go ahead and measure, and everything is measuring up the way it's supposed to, so I'm not really sure where the weirdness comes from. Again, I don't really measure unless I see a problem, and this isn't really a problem, it's just I don't know what happened there. This one, this strip right here, like if it had happened on both, I would freak out, but it only happened on this one, so it may have been some stretching of one of these fabrics, probably this fabric right here, that caused that, I don't know. But anyways, it is done for now. These are both my Clue 9s. When you're done, you should measure at 8.5 by 8.5, and mine are approximately that size. They're a little bit off. But again, I really never have to worry too much whenever I'm putting them together, because even if they're not exactly the size that's listed, they're usually pretty close, and when I go to put the quilt together, I kind of make it work, and it's never really steered me wrong so far. So anyways, all right, there we go. All right, that's it for Clue 9. Next month, we're going to get Clue 10, which is going to tell us exactly how to put everything together, and we'll have our final result for our quilt. It is so exciting that we are just a month away from being able to see what this quilt looks like and how all these pieces go together. It has definitely been chaotic looking at them, trying to put them together in my head. I think I might have an idea, but it's always a mystery until the very, very end. All right, so make sure to come back next month and see what Clue 10 has in store for us. Looks like it's almost time for Clue 10. Just kidding. Anyways, Clue 10 will be here before we know it. Come back to my channel and I'll help you step by step walk through how to put your small quilt together and get it fully put together. I don't know what to say. I'm just so excited. I can't even form words at this point. So join me next month, and until then, I'll see you next time.